Okay. So, unsa man ang nahitabo diri kay Glorious and Alta? Is this upstream or downstream? Glorious Company acquired 40% IIA kay Alta. So, our investor here is Glorious and our investee is Alta for 5 million on 1/1/2019. At the acquisition date, there is no difference. All right. Alta Company reported 2 million for 2019 and 3 million for 2020, and with the following cash dividends, 801 million respectively. Now, here are the transactions that happened during the 2-year period. First, on January 1, 2019, like kakabili pa lang ng investment, ayan, namaligya na dayon og equipment. On January 1, 2019, Alta Company sold an equipment. So, Alta, kinsa gyud siya? This is the investee. Namaligya siya kang Glorious. That means this is an upstream transaction. So, regardless if it's upstream or downstream, the same pa rin naman ang concept na mag-a-apply. So, let's just identify para malupod ta. I mean, matrain ta pag-identify kinsa si investor, kinsa si investee. And also, para ma-picture out pod nato, di ba? So, this is an upstream transaction and the first thing is na maligya og equipment si Alta kang Glorious. I believe this equipment is a PPE. Hindi siya inventory. Hindi siya yung binibenta talaga ni Alta. Okay? I think this is a used equipment. Nagamit niya na to. Old, ganyan. So, it costs 500,000 and then gibaligya niya for 800,000. So, looking at the figures, we could easily say nga naa siya na-earn nga profit nga 300,000, the difference. So, naa siya patong na 300,000. Glorious Company applies a 10% straight line depreciation. So, see, hindi siya inventory. Ginagamit siya sa normal course of business kasi may depreciation na nangyayari. Okay, now on July 1, Alta Company sold an equipment. So, this is 2020 and so is letter C. So, we have here the first requirement. Let's focus first on 2019. How am I going to present this? Balikan ko. Okay. Sabi pa, di ba, ang mga unrealized profit, we're going to eliminate those items. So, that means, for 2019, net income, ano to ha, net income ni Alta. Kaya mag-record man ta o share nato sa iyang net income. So, itong entry, that is debit IIA, and then credit investment income. So, kung wala lang untay mga upstream or downstream transactions, diretso unta ta sa 2 million here times 40%. Kaso may mga inside transactions na nangyari or internal transactions na nangyari. So, we're going to consider that. 2 million, the reported net income of Alta, and the difference or the adjustment would be based on the upstream transaction. So, the equipment or the gain on sale of equipment. Gain on sale of equipment. So, this is in the point of view ni Alta. Pila iyahang gain on sale dito. I mentioned earlier na 300,000 and the standard says any unrealized gain should be eliminated. Therefore, minus yon. Eliminated nga. So, negative 300,000. However, how are we going to realize that unrealized gain? Since this is not an inventory, di na to siya mabaligya, di na to ma-realize, ma-realize na to ang iyahang unrealized profit through the use of the equipment for a period of time. And I mentioned that earlier as well, that is through depreciation. Ingon pa diri, Glorious, katong bagong owner, applies a 10% straight line depreciation. Okay. So that means 10% of 300,000 ang mahimo nato nga adjustment. And that adjustment is considered realized or realization of profit. So kung na-realize na pasabot na ana. So that's an addition. So that would be 300,000 times 10%. So that's an addition of 30,000 to the net income. And let's find out pila ni.
Ma'am, excuse.
Yes.
Naaday masulod, ma'am.
Okay na ata. I think that was Jeril Alfanta. Ako na siyang na-admit. Okay. Ang uban wala.
Kamasura, ma'am.
Wala namang nag-notify. Wala pong nag-notify. So maybe in a while. Basig na magawas sa tron. So connecting pa yung internet. Okay, so we have 1.73 million adjusted net income of Alta Company. So, gi-adjust nato sa mga upstream and downstream transactions. And our share for that income is 40%. So, that means ang atong i-record na investment income in relation to the net income of Alta Company would be 692,000. So, that would be a debit of investment in associates and then credit of investment income. So, share in profit 2019. So, this is requirement number 1. Let's proceed to requirement number 2. Okay, requirement number 2. We have net income for 2020 na 3 million. So, ato na ning eliminate ning gain on sale kay ato naman ning ato na ning na tawag na to. Ato na siyang gi-consider for 2019 kay didto man nahitabo ang transaction. But the depreciation will continue to be realized on year 2020 kasi parang 10 years pa niya pwedeng magamit ang equipment. So, imagine, naa siya 10% depreciation and then you have 300 dire. So, we have 300 divided by 30. 10 years pa niyang magamit. So, for the next 10 years, magsige tag-adjust sa net income ni Alta Company before nato i-compute atong share in profit. And that adjustment, again, is 10% of the gain. That's 30,000. But there are other transactions that happened during 2020. Let's have item letter B. Oh, ayan na sila. Sabay-sabay silang pumasok. Okay. On July 1, 2020, Alta Company sold an equipment of 900,000 to Glorious. So, si Alta lang gihapon na maligya. So, this is again an upstream transaction. Equipment lang gihapon. The carrying amount is 500 at the time of sale, and the remaining life is 5 years. So, looking at the figures, 500 ang carrying amount, gibaligya og 900, so nakaginansya siya og 400,000. Okay, and that 400,000 again should be eliminated according to the standard. So, ato ta. Nahinayan na to, adjust. So, gain on sale of equipment gihapon, that was 400. Alisin yung 400. But, ato siyang ma-realize through passage of time, pinaagi sa depreciation. And this time, how much is the depreciation? That is 400,000 na difference atong i-realize. 400,000 divided by 5 years, right? So, every year, naatay adjustment sa income na 80,000. But take note, for year 2020, kanusa siya napalit? That was July 1. So, July 1 to December 31, that's only 6 months. July, September, October, November, July, August, September, October, November, December. So, that's only 6 months. Therefore, that is 80,000 times 6 divided by 12, or simply 1/2. Therefore, the depreciation to be realized for 2020 is just 40,000. But for year 2021, of course, good for 1 year na to. Kay 1 year naman magamit ang equipment. But for 2020, half of the year lang nato siya napakinabangan. So, we are going to realize the period of time lang pod kung kanusa nato siya nagamit. Alright, so, we still have item letter C. On December 1, Alta sold to Glorious. This is again an upstream transaction. An inventory this time for 2.8 million. The inventory had a cost of 2 million and was not sold, still on hand. So, 2 million, gibaligya ni Alta kang Glorious og 2.8. So, naa siya ginansya nga 800,000. So, lagay natin dito, gross profit. Profit on inventory. So, ganun na lang. Profit on inventory. And that was 800,000. Pero, minus 800,000. Bakit natin siya dinidak? Kasi, hindi pa nabenta. Okay? Pag sinabing still on hand, pasabot na agihapon kang glorious. And the standard says, pag ang inventory gani, gibaligya na ay upstream or downstream transaction in terms sa inventory, dili siya ma-realize unless nabaligya na siya sa outside party or sa third party. So this time, wala gihapon nabaligya ni Glorious, napaman gihapon sa iyaha, so hindi mo siya mako-consider na realize. Because in the eyes of the standard, investor and investee are somehow in one body. So, they are not two but one. So, kung ang isa nakaginansya, that is si Alta, nakaginansya siya 800, pero si Glorious, wala pa siya nakaginansya, kaya wala pa man niya nabaligya. So, the standard says, oops, do not overstate. Let us assume nga wala gihapon na ninyo nabaligya. So, that's minus 800,000. Kasi para kay Alta, na-appeal na sa iyahang 3 million nga reportable income. So, kanus man niya siya ma-realize, kanus man ni nato i-add og balik kung kanus mabaligya ang inventories. Okay, so let's do the math. We have 1.87 adjusted net income, and again, we have 40% ownership of that as an investor. Therefore, we have an investment income. That's our share in profit for 2020 na 748,000. And that is requirement number 2. Okay. Requirement letter C. Number 3. Journal entries on the books of Glorious for 2019 and 2020. So, medyo hago. Sige lang. Okay, ako saan i-hide ha? Ayan, namang hide dire. Clear, delete, hide. Alright. Sige, let's proceed to letter C. Si Glorious, buhatan na to og journal entry. So let's begin with 1/1/2019. What happened in 1/1/2019? We have an investment in associates, 40%, and a credit of cash, and that is 5 million. What else? Ano pa ba ibang nangyari sa 2019? On the same day, 1/1/2019, there was a sale of equipment gikan kang Alta padulong kay Glorious based on letter A na given. So, we acknowledged an equipment and then credit, cash, kung pilatong gibayad, etc. But let us focus on the things that happened sa IIA. Ayan. Kasi prepare journal entries in relation to the investment in associates. So let's not record the acquisition of the equipment. Rather, let's focus on those items na maka-affect sa tuang IIA. So what else? On January 1, 2019, yung share ng income, tama. So investment in associate. And then your share in income, we call it investment income. At itong na-compute, that was 692,000. Muna siya ang requirement number 1 kaganina. What else? Okay. This happened on 12/31/2019. What else happened on 12/31/2019? The dividends. So that's a debit of cash because this is cash dividend, and a credit of IIA or investment in associates. So for 2019, ang gi-declare 800,000 and we will have 40% of that. So that's 320,000. What else? I think ito lang yung nangyari for 2019. Let's proceed to 2020. So that was July 1, 2020. Ay, okay. So, di na lagi na to i-record ang acquisition of equipment. Ano po bang nangyari, ang ibang nangyari sa 2020? Let's proceed to 12/31/2020 sa atuang share sa investment. Okay? So, that is, share sa income rather. That's debit IIA, credit investment income. And ato itong na-compute ka ganina. How much was that? 748, tama ba? 748,000. And eventually, our share in dividends. So, that's cash, debit, and then credit, IIA. Pilang iyang gi-declare? That's 1 million. 40% padulong sa ato. That's 400,000. So, I think these are the necessary entries that we're going to prepare in relation to our investment in associate. So, we have 3 entries for 2019 and 2 entries for 2020. Now, the last requirement, determine the carrying amount of the IIA on December 31, 2020. So, if you are using the usual format, like itong nakasunod-sunod yun, then okay lang po. But if you have time nga i-consider po ang T account, then okay lang din. Sige, let's use the usual na parang tawag nito, chronological or yung naka-grid view. Grid view ba tawagan? Or list view. Sige, list view. We have at acquisition or the cost of the investment. Sige, ganyan na. Cost of the investment. That was on 1/1/2019 and that was 5 million, right? So this is question number 4. And then what else happened in 2019? We have investment income for 2019 and that was 692, tama? Share in profit. Sige, anak na lang para specific. Share in profit, we have 692. And then we have dividends. So, ganito effect basta dividends, di ba? Credit, therefore, minus. That's minus 320,000. Andun yun sa taas. Ito. Naka-credit. And then, on 2020, again, we had a share in profit and also dividends. So, share in profit was 748 and 400 for the dividends. So, our carrying amount or the balance of our IIA account at the end of December 31, 2020 is 5.72 million. So, that is carrying amount or IIA 12/31/2020. Okay? So, kung answer nyo naman is hindi naman ganito yung pagkaka-present like naka-T account, and okay lang din. As long as andyan si 5.72 million. Okay? So, that is requirement number 4. So, kung imo na siyang i-T account, then naka-debit yung mga positive, and then naka-credit yung mga negative. So, I think I already gave you a general format kung ano yung mga naka-debit tsaka ano yung naka-credit sa IIA account using the equity method. Okay. So, question? Asa naman akong tubig? Alright, so kung walay pangutana, let's proceed to the next problem. So this is problem number 2 and we're going to talk about interlude company. What happened to interlude? Anyway, the requirement is, first, we're going to determine how much is the goodwill the investment income for the current year, journal entries, and the carrying amount at the end of 2020. Interlude Company acquired a 30% interest in an investee. So, interlude ang investor diri nga time for 3.2 million. The equity of the investee on the date of acquisition was 6 million. Okay? So, 6 million, 4 million ana share capital, 2 million ana retained earnings. All the identifiable assets and liabilities of the investee were recorded at fair value except for an equipment with a fair value of 3 million greater than the carrying amount. The remaining useful life is 5 years. So, ayun, nakita natin ang difference. So, looking at this alone, kasi yung mga succeeding na information is about year-end naman. And the first requirement is goodwill arising from the acquisition. So, focus lang sa January 1, 2020 because that is the date of acquisition. So, let's compute for goodwill. First, let's have the cost. And the cost is katotong gibaya. That's 3.2. And how much is the fair value? The fair value of, or the carrying amount of the investment na ato ang gipalit. So that is 6 million times 30%. Okay, so na ay difference na how much? 1.4 million na difference. So this difference atong pangitaon kung asa na siya gikan. So nganong naay difference nga 1.4 million, asa siya attributable. And we learned nga niingon din sa second paragraph, all assets and liabilities are at fair value except for an equipment. So therefore kaning 1.4 most probably didto na siya sa equipment, and that was 3 million. 3 million times 0.3. Okay, 900,000 lang. So this is for undervalued equipment. Ma'am, nganong undervalued? Kasi ang fair value 3 million greater than the carrying amounts. Ibig sabihin, mas gamay si carrying amount. Kaya siya tinatawag na undervalued equipment. So 900,000. So any balance, that's 1.4 minus 900. The balance is 500,000. Sabi ni Standard, the excess of cost over carrying amount is attributable to some assets or liabilities na hindi sila naka-fair value. So, in this example, yung asset na yon na hindi naka-fair value is yung equipment. So, dun daw attributable ang difference. Pero after considering all the assets and liabilities na undervalued or overvalued, pag naalang gihapoy na bilin, that is automatically considered as goodwill. So, this time, wala na ilain na nakapa-imbalance sa ato ang cost of carrying amount, kundi kanila nga equipment. So, therefore, kaning 500,000 nga nabilin, wala na yun tayo pwedeng masaksakan ani. Therefore, that is considered as goodwill. So, that's what the standard says. So, that would be our requirement number 1. 500,000 goodwill. Thanks. Okay. Sige. So, let's have requirement number 2. Determine the investment income for the current year. Okay. Unsa ba ang mga unsa nga items ang maka-affect sa tuwang investment income? So, balik ta sa T account nato, we have the share in profit, share in loss, the amortization of the excess of cost over carrying amount. What else? The difference of the fair value, of the net fair value, right? Naapod to. I think kanto lang. So kung na ako'y nalimtan din. Good, ngayon yung na-remember. Revaluation surplus, hindi siya kasali dun sa investment income, right? Okay. On December 31, 2020, Interlude Company had inventory costing 2 million on hand, which had been purchased from Investee. So, gibaligyaan siya ni Investee. This is an upstream transaction. So, upstream, di nito na nato ang assignment. A profit of 600,000 had been made on the sale. So, ginansya si Investee og 600,000. Wala giingon ang pangalan ni Investee. So, okay. So, if you could notice, ingon siya still on hand. Therefore, kanang 600,000 nga ginansya ni Investee, unrealized pa lang na siya. So, later, natay buhaton na adjustment sa gi-report nga net income ni Investee. And, ayan na nga. During the year, the Investee reported net income of 4 million and paid 1.5 dividends. So, compute ta. We have 2020 net income na 4 million. And we are going to adjust it sa atoang unrealized profit dito sa inventory nga gibaligya. That was 600, tama? So lahat wala joy na nabaligya maski 1/2 man lang. So wala po tayo ma-realized. So yung buong 600,000 unrealized yun. What else? The equity of the investee on December 31 showed the following. 4 million share capital, walay changes. In the beginning of the year, 4 million gihapon to, right? Ang retained earnings, 2 million. This time, ning saka na. Kasi may income nga siya, di ba? So, most probably dahil to sa income. So, 3.5 na retained earnings and naa siya'y appropriated na 1 million. But retained earnings pa rin. Ibig sabihin, iya lang nang giset aside. Okay? Retained earnings appropriated, giset aside, maybe because it is required by the standard na mag-set aside kag retained earnings. For example, pag naakay gipalit nga treasury shares, tama? Requirement nga naakay enough pundo para sa treasury shares. Or some other policy sa company nga kailangan mag-set aside og retained earnings. For example, naamoy plan nga mag-expand sa inyong company. So mag-set aside mo part sa inyong income kay para naamoy enough pundo the time nga magpa-construct na mo or mag-open na mo another or magpa-expand na mo sa inyong business. So, that's a company policy. So, na yung mga certain reasons why retained earnings are set aside, why retained earnings are appropriated. But in the end, retained earnings gihapon na. And then, I think na-discuss naman dito. The retained earnings appropriated arose from a transfer of unappropriated to appropriated for contingency. So, mga backup lang in case na may mga losses, na mga liabilities, or mga losses, contingencies, pang backup. The revaluation surplus arose from a revaluation of land. Okay, so, ang tinatanong naman ni number 2 is investment income. And again, yung revaluation surplus, wala naman siyang effect sa investment income. Because this revaluation surplus is just a debit of investment in associate and credit revaluation surplus. Diretso na yun sa equity. Therefore, our investment income for the year will only be that is 3.4 million. So, ito yung magiging investment. Wait. Unsa pa ganito? Naadi dividends. Sorry. Let's just call this the adjusted net income. And may dividend pa pala na 1.5. And, diba? Dividend, debit, cash, credit, investment in associate. Wala nga pala siyang effect sa investment income. So, therefore, our investment income is 3.4 times pila ang ato ang share? 30%. So, that is 1.02 million. Okay. 1.02 million. But, take note, naatay difference dinhi nga Okay, let's just call this share in profit. We have excess of cost. Okay, excess of cost over carrying amount. Okay. Excess of cost over carrying amount, and asa ganito siya, di ba na siya sa credit side sa ato ang T account. And our entry for that is debit investment income, credit investment in associates. So this will decrease our investment income kasi gi-debit. Amortization of excess of cost. So ganun na lang. And the amortization would be the 900,000 divided by pila to ka years? 5, right? Ayan. So we have 180 and this is minus 180. A decrease of our investment income. Therefore, the total investment income for the year would be 840,000. That's requirement number 2. Okay. Ma'am, naglibog lagi mi diri unsa ni siya? So, kung naglibog, let's prepare the journal entries. Okay. Journal entries, let's have 1120 and that was the date of acquisition. We debit IIA and credit cash for how much? 32. What else happened on 1120? Ay, wala na. Okay, wala na pala. So, diretso na ta sa 12/31/2020. We are going to determine or to recognize, our share in income. And how much was that investment income? So, magkano yun? Magkano yung share natin sa income? That was 840, right? Atong na-compute ka ganina. 840,000. Ayan. And unsa pa bay lain? Our share in the dividend. So that would be cash, and then credit, investment in associate. That is 1.5 times 30%. So our share in dividends is 450,000. Okay. What else? Ay, tama ba? Investment income, katong share in profit na to, was it 840? I think that was not 840. Muna tong net. That was 1,020,000. Wala din namang nagreklamo. Okay, makinig kayo. Kaya basig mamali ko, ako nagyapin mo. Tama. Okay, so our share in profit adjusted from 4 million atong gibawasan og kadtong 600,000 and then times 30%, that would be 1.2 million. So yun yung kinompute natin kanina. And also, we are going to amortize our excess of cost over carrying amount by depreciating the equipment for 5 years. So that would be investment income and then credit to IIA. And atong na-compute ganina, that was 180,000. So again, that was 900 or 3 million times 0.3 divided by 5. Kaya siya 180,000. What else? The revaluation surplus. So, investment in associate and then our share in the reval. Pila ba yung revaluation surplus? That was 2 million. And our share is just 30%. So that is a revaluation surplus of 600,000. Let's make this specific. Revaluation surplus investee. Okay. So these are our entries for the year 2020. So, katong investment income nga atong gi-compute ka ganina, kung medyo nalibog ka, then you could prepare these entries first and then tanawa or pangitaas investment income. So, you have 1.02 here, credit, and you have a debit here of 180. So, that's 1.02 minus 180, that will yield to the same 840,000 nga atong gi-compute kaganina. Okay? Let me check. Ay, nagwa pa kong calculate. 1020 minus 1. Oh, okay, 840. Next, nay mo sulod. Okay, ayan. Sige. Determine the carrying amount of the investment in associate. Alas 9 naman dong. What took you so long? Atong klase ha, let me remind you that was 8 to 11. So, naiuban mo sulod alas 9, alas 10. Number 4, determine the carrying amount of the investment in associate on December 31, 2020. So, simple lang, adjustments sa investment in associate. So, let's begin with our acquisition cost. So, let's begin with the cost. And then, order na lang. The cost, and then our share in profit, and our dividends, that's a decrease. Cost, that was 3.2, right? 3.2. And our share in profit is 1.02. Ayan. Our share in dividends, that was 450. Itong entry na to. Ayan. But this is a negative. 450. Kasi naka-credit. And our amortization of excess of cost, that was 180. Still, this is a minus. And our share in the revaluation surplus, that was 600,000. That's an addition. Ano pa ba? I think that's it. Therefore, our balance would be 4.19 million. So, if you do the T account, ganun pa rin. Naka-debit lang yung cost, yung share in profit, yung evaluation surplus, at nasa kabilang side naman yung dividends, tsaka yung amortization. So, you do the math and you will arrive at the same 4.19 million. So, that is our carrying amount for December 31, 2020. So, that's it. The succeeding problems, we will talk about investment in bonds. But there are still concepts na hindi pa natin na-discuss. Okay. Hindi pa natin na-discuss in relation to investment in associates. So please prepare and answer this problem that I will share in our messenger. In our group chat, rather. So this will talk about those instances na those instances nga naay mga changes sa atuang ownership. So, we started with small interest. Let's say, nag-start kag 10% and then ipalit ka, kaya siya nagdako. So, naay tendency nga na nakay significant influence kung mudako ug mudako ang imuhang investment sa company. Napoy mga times nga the other way around. So, example, you have 40% and then gihinay-hinay ni mong baligya. So, 40% you have significant influence, so you will use equity method. So, gihinay-hinay ni mong baligya, hangtod sa nahurot na lang, 10% na lang ang nabilin. So, according to the standards sa ganito, you cannot use equity method unless you have 20% ownership sa company, 20% or more. So, kung naka 10% na lang imong ownership, you use cost method or fair value method. So, please answer this as your drill. So, those people na naanay 3 points sa ato ang participation, please refrain from sharing your answers in our chat box. Although you could still answer, pero huwag mo na i-share. Okay. Ayan. Na-share ko na din sa screen. So, You could use either way. Ma'am, dili ba pwede kung ang i-record sa entry kay diretso 840,000? Pwede rin naman. Kung gusto mong i-net, then pwede rin. So, what I did was, ako lang i-illustrate item per item. Pero, yung 840 na naimo nang na-compute, pwede na din yon. Anyway, the same lang din naman, IIA ang partner. Investment in associates, tapos investment income. Okay? Okay. The question nga pala. Sorry, wala nga pala. Ay, sorry. Sorry, wala nga palang question. So, for Hazel Company, please compute for, okay, December 31, 2020. Please compute for the unrealized loss on December 31, 2020. Again, please compute for the unrealized loss for December 31, 2020. Okay, so we have answers here na 600,000 from Mr. Alfanta, and we also have from Miss Sanchez. So let's find out kung sakto ba nila ang answer. So there are others na namoy different answer, then you could still put them in our chat box as we go along. Okay? Let me check first if qualified ba to si Mr. Alfanta. Ay, nawala na yung listahan ko. Dito pala. Okay, Mr. Alfanta. Okay, you still have one more to go para ma-complete mo yung 3 points. 3 times na participation. Okay, let's have Hazel Company. What happened here was, initially, na siya 30% nga gipalit kang East Company. So, this will make the investment an investment in associate because naana siya significant influence. That's more than 20%. Gipalit niya for 8 million. For 2019, na ay income na 5 million and dividends of 2 million in which makikishare si Hazel by 30%. So, that's an increase and decrease sa iyahang investment in associate account. East reported earning 6 million until June 30, 2020 and 8 million for the rest of the year. On July 1, 2020, Hazel sold half of the investment. So, iyang gibaligya ang half. That means 30%, gibaligya ang katunga, pila na lang nabilin sa iya half? 15%, right? And kung naa kay less than 20, you cannot exercise significant influence. Therefore, you cannot use equity method according to the standards. So that makes it an investment in fair value through OCI. Okay? So, hindi na tayo pwedeng gumamit ng equity method. That was when? July 1. Okay, July 1. Binenta niya ang kalahati for 6 million and nagbigay si East Company ng dividends ng 2.5. Sayang, hindi niya man lang na... Okay lang, makakatanggap pa rin naman siya, pero 15% na lang. Now, on July 1, 2020, the investment is measured at fair value through OCI. Yes, kasi nga hindi na pwedeng equity method. And the fair value of the retained investment is 6.5. Ibig sabihin, yung natirang 15%, ang fair value nun is 6.5. This is relevant because according to the standards, this problem is an example of an investment in associate na napunta na lang as investment at fair value. Okay? And if that's the case, investment in associate to investment at fair value or equity method to fair value through OCI, ang gagawin natin, let's first update the remaining investment or yung natirang investment, update at fair value, and then saka natin i-reclassify. So when I say reclassify, from one type of investment, ita-transfer natin to another type of investment. In this particular problem, from IIA, ita-transfer natin papuntang financial asset at fair value through OCI. So let us have that here. So, kanina lang sa akong gamiton ha. Okay. Let's prepare the journal entries necessary for Hazel Company. So, tanaw na lang mo sa inyong messenger. Pag-glance-glance, pasulyap-sulyap para makita ninyo ang problem. Okay? So, for 2019, 1-1, 2019, that's 1-1, 2019. Let's have investment in associate and credit cash, and that was 8 million. Tama? 8 million. And then, we received a share in the profit and the dividend. So, we have IIA for the share in profit. And that's investment income. 30% of the 5 million. So, that makes it 1.5. And our share in dividends, that's cash dividends and credit IIA. And that would be 30% of 2 million, and that makes it 600,000. For 2020, that was June 30. So, ato sa nga i-record ang ato ang share sa ilahang profit as of January 1, 2020 to July 1, 2020. Nagbenta tayo ng share July 1. So, for the 6 months, naka-equity method ta. For 6 months, naatay significant influence. Therefore, for 6 months, makikishare tayo dun sa profit nila. So, that would be June 30, 2020. Share in profit, that would be IIA and debit investment income. Ang profit natin daw was 6 million as of that moment. So, 6 million times 30%. Naka-equity method pa rin naman tayo. Ayan, ay cockroach. Okay, that will be 1.8 million and our share in dividends. Anyway, naghatag ba og dividends as of June 30? Parang wala naman, di ba? October pa siya naghatag. So, wala tayo rights na magtuga-tugang share dito. Kaya wala man po nag-declare ang company. So, let's proceed to July 1 this time. The time nga ato nang gibaligya ang ato ang investment or half of our investment. So, we received cash. We received cash and investment. Pila do to atong pagkabaligya? That's 6 million, right? Okay. So that would be debit cash and then credit IIA cash of 6 million. And then, pila man ang atuang balance sa IIA this time? We have sa sugod na atay 8 million. And then, nag-increase sa share in profit, na decrease sa dividends. And by June 30, na po tayo share nga 1.8. Therefore, our updated amount is, naku ba? 10 million? Ay, kasi 15%, I mean, half lang day ana. So, that's 10.7 divided by 2. Okay, so we have this carrying amount of 5.35. Therefore, we have a gain on sale of investment. Na how much? 650,000. I think this is not the question. Ang gipangutana, unrealized loss. Tama? Sige, padayon ta. So, ngayon, nabenta na natin ang half. We only have 15%. Wala na tayong significant influence. Therefore, alisin na natin si IIA of being an IIA. Hindi na siya pwedeng magkaroon ng ganyang label kasi nawala na yung other half. So, single na lang ni siya. Di na siya pwede investment in associate. Ibalhin na to sa fair financial asset at fair value. But before that, let us first update our IIA. So, how much is the fair value di ay? Asa naman ta? Okay, ayan. The fair value of the retained investment, yung naiwan, is 6.5. How much is the carrying amount of the remaining investment? Di ba 5.35 man po to? Ang katunga sa 10.7. So, butang na ko din hiya ha. You have the carrying amount na 5,350. Ayan. And we have the fair value na 6.5. Therefore, there is a difference of 1,150. And this is an increase in fair value. So, kay nag-change naman ta from IIA to fair value, so kailangan na to i-update at fair value. So, dapat si IIA na to, wala na naka 5.35, instead naka 6.5. So, kailangan to siya dungagan og 1,150. So, debit IIA and then credit gain from remeasurement. Okay? To fair value. Gain from remeasurement. Ibig sabihin, nag-change ng measurement. Kaya nga, remeasurement. So that is 1,150 million. And then, since ato naman siya nga na-update, so ang 5,350 nga remaining plus 1,150 na himon tong 6.5, it would be easy for us to reclassify. Reclassify means tanggalan na si IIA kasi single na yan. Wala na siyang label to become IIA. So that was 6.5 at fair value and you transfer it to financial asset at fair value through OCI. 6.5. Okay. That's it. For July 1, hindi pa naman tayo tapos kasi, ano daw yon? May dividends on October 1, 2020. May share pa naman tayo sa dividends, right? Maski cost method atong gigamit. Balikan nyo yung equity investments natin na topic. Nagihapon tayo share. So, maka-receive gihapon tag cash, but unlike the equity method na IIA unta ang nakabutang diha, dili na. Kasi equity method, dili na pwede kay 15%. Therefore, ang lalagay natin is dividend income. Balikan natin, I think it was chapter 16. Okay, I think it was chapter or 17. Chapter 17, equity investments. So that was pila ba tuyang income? Dividends, 2.5 times 15%. Therefore, we have a share of 375,000 for the dividends. And on December 31, so this was 10/1/2020, right? Now, we have an adjustment on 12/31/2020, and that would be for the fair value by that time, which is 5.9. So, naka-fair value na tayo. So, we consider the fair value at year-end. 6.5 napuntang 5.9. Therefore, meron tayong decrease, and we consider this as unrealized loss. OCI siya. Hindi siya dun sa P&L. So, lagyan ng apelyido. OCI. And automatic decrease sa ato ang financial asset. How much? 6.5 nidaog padulong 5.9. Therefore, there is a loss of 600,000 and we have that same answer from Jeril and Risa. So, this will be credited to Jeril Alfanta's score. Okay? So, 600,000, you got it right. Okay, that is how we account if there is a change gikan sa investment in associate. Tapos, nahimo na lang siya. Ni-downgrade, okay? Wala siya ni-upgrade. Ni-downgrade going to fair value or financial asset at fair value. Or from equity method, ni-downgrade padulong kang fair value method or cost method. Ganyan. Okay? Let's have this another illustration, please. Okay, this time, let's see kung unsaon po nato pag-account kung naay upgrade. Okay? From gamay nga interest going to a bigger interest. From fair value through OCI, padulong equity method. So, this time, let's have Fame Company. Okay. Now, for Fame Company question, compute for the carrying amount of the investment in associate for December 31, 2020. I mean, 2021. Okay, so Ayan. Carrying amount of investment in associate on 12/31/2021. Ma'am we. Yes, Arlie, what is it? All right, we have 12 million, we have 11 million, we have 1.2 million. Okay, so it varies. I like this. Wala na? Wala na ilayang entry? I'm still looking for another answer. So ayong kalimtiha nga na reclassification nga nahitabo. That's 1.65. Okay. There was a reclassification that happened. So kadtong isa ka investment na transfer pud siya into na-upgrade pud siya appeal kay dapat man nato na siya i-accumulate. So kung pag-upgrade niya dapat ma-transfer pud siya into IIA, right? So ayaw to siya kalimti. I think na yung mga parts nga wala guro to siya na consider. Okay, we have another answer. We have 300,000. I think I need a larger amount. Murag milyones gyud ni iyang investment din hiya. Sige, atong i-try og answer. Sabay-sabay tayo. Sabay-sabay tayo. Okay. Fame company acquired 10%. So basically, at first, dili siya pwede mo gamit og equity method. So, in fact, ang ihang gigamit, fair value through OCI. Now, the fair value for the next 2 years, 5.5 tapos 6 million. So, pag mo gamit ta og fair value through OCI, murag gyapon siya katong trading securities, right? Every year, ato siyang gina-update. Therefore, sige, add na lang ko diri og Therefore, every year, ato siyang gina-update, dapat naka at fair value siya pirmi. Let me set up my Google Sheet. Okay. So, ganito yon. Ay, unsa ang naka-share? Kani di ay, dili di ay ang katong sa Messenger ang naka-share. I'm so sorry. Pero gisend po na ako siya sa Messenger. But anyway, ito yon. Okay. So, let's have journal entries para ato siyang masabtan. For 2019, January 1, 2019. Okay? So, good ta. 1/1/2019 atay gipalit na financial asset at fair value through OCI. Okay, so that was for cash na 5 million. So during the year, wala tayong problema. Wala naman siyang sinabi na may income or what na nangyayari. So maki-update lang ta. Nabalikan natin. Maki-update lang ta sa mga changes sa fair value. So, ayun na nga. At the end of the year, na ay changes na nahitabo. At 12/31/2019, nag-change ang fair value from 5 million ni Saka og 5.5 million. So, there is a change of 500,000. So, therefore, there is an increase. And we consider that increase as unrealized gain going to OCI. Again, that was 500,000. And for the next year, 12/31/2020, naa na po'y changes nga nahitabo. From 5.5 ni Saka na pud siya 6 million. Therefore, naa na pud tay unrealized gain nga 500,000 lang gihapon. From 5.5 again ni adto og from 5.5 going up to 6 million. So that is another unrealized gain. However, on 1/1/2021, nagpalit ta og investment, right? So, sabi dito, on 1/1/2021, nagpalit tag 20% another. So, that makes it 30% in total, right? 30%, of course, we can exercise significant influence. And if that's the case, dapat naka-equity method na ta. Okay? So, according to the standards, pag nag-change from fair value through OCI going to equity method, please, kung amuhang ginagamit is fair value through OCI, kaning mga unrealized gains or unrealized losses, any net amount of that, we are going to transfer that to retained earnings. Therefore, katong total nato nga unrealized, this time, mura na siya na realized. Okay? And it will be transferred to retained earnings. So, pila man to tanan? I guess that was 1 million in total. Ma'am, nga 1 million? 500,000 for 2019, another 500,000 sa 2020, so that makes it 1 million in total. It transfer kang retained earnings the moment nga ma-reclassify na siya going to equity method. But ma'am, what if dili ni siya through OCI? Fair financial asset at fair value through profit or loss. If that's the case, ignore this one. Walang transfer na mangyayari. Kasi naka-profit or loss, diretso naman po na siya retained earnings, by the way, at the end of the year. So, that makes it 0. So, wala na tayo unrealized gain, pero naagihapon natong financial asset at 6 million. But according to the standards, before that, ato sang i-record ang atoang gipalit na bagong investment. We bought it at 11 million, right? The 20%. Gipalit na to at 11 million. Okay. The carrying amount was 40 million by that time. Okay. So, parang may mga difference na naman dito. Excess of cost over carrying amount. And ayan na nga. Meron nga. The fair value of the net assets of the investee is equal to the carrying amount except for the equipment whose fair value exceeds 5 million. So, undervalued lang gihapon nga equipment. The equipment has a remaining life of 5 years. Ayan. So, later, ato ni siya nga magamit somehow kung naatay kailangang i-compute pag-abot sa tuwang investment in associate. The investee reported net income of 9 million for 2021 and paid dividends 4 million for the same year. Okay, ayan na nga. Wala ngang dividends for 2019 and 2020. So, na-set up na nato ang investment in associate for that 20% interest nga atong gipalit. Pero, paano naman yung 10% kanina? Alangan naman matulog lang na diraa si 6 million. Dili. Di na siya pwedeng fair value. Kailangan na siya naka-equity method. So, kailangan na to siya i-transfer to IIA gikan kang financial asset at fair value OCI. Pilang i-transfer? The 6 million. So, nakay 5 million sa sugod, ning tubog 500, ni tubog 500, 6 million na yon. But, katong panahon nga, kailangan na nato siya i-upgrade. Ayan, eliminate. Nawala din si 6 million na transfer kang IIA 6 million. So, that's how you do it. Gikan fair value to equity method. Now, what else happened on 2020? Okay. So, atong i-consider na this time nga nata sa year-end. On year-end, we have this share in profit. Di ba ang gipangutana is carrying amount at 2020. So, napatay ipang consider. We have IIA, our share in profit. And this is investment income. Kasi naka-equity method na tayo. But the question is how much? Pila ba iyahang income for the year? That was 9 million. Tama? And then 9 million times 30%. Kasi 30% na itong interest. 10 plus ni palitag another 20. So we have this share na 2.7. What else? We have cash for the dividends and IIA credit. And pila ang dividends? That was 4 million in which 30% padulong sa atoa. So, naay bawas sa ito ang IIA nga 1.2 million. And, what else? Ano pa ba? Nabay share in loss? Wala. Share in profit nga. Naabay revaluation surplus? Wala din. Naabay excess of cost? Let's compute. Naabay excess of cost over carrying amount? Adto ta din sa part nga ato na siyang gipalit. Cost or acquisition cost. Diba dalawa yun? First, meron tayong 11 million. Para sa ato ang gipalit nga 20% plus the 6 million. Ma'am, nganong apil si 6 million? Kasi ato gani siyang i-accumulate. Dili lang kay 20% ato ang panag-iya. Ano ba? Atong ownership sa company kundi 30%. Therefore, i-appeal ang imuhang first 10% nga interest at fair value or at carrying amount this time. Kasi pareho lang din naman si carrying amount tsaka si fair value. So you have 11 million for the 20% and 6 million for the 10%. That makes it 17 million cost at the acquisition date. Ito yun 11 plus 6. How much is the carrying amount for the 30%? Pila gani daw to yung carrying amount? 40 million, right? 30% of that is ours. Ayan. Looking at it, you can easily identify that there's a difference of 5 million. Excess of cost. And asa na siya attributable ang 5 million? Attributable siya, sabi dito, sa isang equipment na may carrying amount na 5 million. Uy, sakto ma'am, 5 million. Anong sakto? Sakto ka dyan. 30% ray ato dira. That means 5 million times 0.3, we have 1.5. Napabaylain, wala na. Sa ganito, basta wala na, padulong sa goodwill na tanan. And that would be 3.5 million goodwill. Now, unsa may relevance ani sa ato ang computation later? Di ba ito, kailangan natin tong i-amortize. Nasa T-account natin to. Amortization of excess of cost over carrying amount. Diri na. And unsaon ganito pag-amortize? Decrease your investment income and decrease your IIA. How are we going to amortize this equipment? Divide it by its useful life. And according to the problem, it has a useful life of 5 years. Divided by 5, that makes it 300. That's it. Ito na lahat. So, let's compute for the carrying amount. Sige, dito na lang natin i-compute. Mag-base ta sa journal entries. You have IIA, ayan, sa journal entry, naka-debit, plus this, plus your 2.7, minus your 1.2, naka-credit, and minus your 300. Therefore, you will have an 18.2 million carrying amount as of 12/31/2020. Ma'am, pila na lang ang fair financial asset at fair value through OCI? Wala na. Na-eliminate na. Naanatanan sa IIA. So, this, add, and then add, minus. Ay, ito pala. That makes it 18.2 million. And who got the correct answer? Nobody. Nobody got the correct answer. So, saan galing si 12 million? Si 11 million, I think ito yung acquisition. 1.2, 2.7. So, yun yung sabi ko kanina na masyadong maliit ang answers nyo. When, sa sugod pa lang, na siya 11 million nga gibayad. And then, imo pa dyan tong idungag tong 10% nga fair value. So, tingala ko nga nung gagmay kayo inyuhang mga answers. So, ayun ha. That's how you account for it. Last problem, please. For investment in associate. Last problem for investment in associate, kindly compute mega company. Okay, we have 3 questions here. So, kamo na bahala. Pataka ra akong calculator. Okay, we have 3 questions here. Kamo na bahala kung unsa inyong gusto answeran. So, we have mega company. 1, investment income. Income for 2019. 2, we have investment income 2020. And 3, how much is the carrying amount of IIA on 12/31/2020. So that was the first problem na walang nakakuha ng tamang answer. Pero sige lang. Okay? I'll give you some time. Okay? Ah, yes. Okay. Be, magklases ako ha. Okay, so we have here answers. Unsa man eh? Investment income, okay. Uy, Felmar, you're alive. 10% times 2 million. Sige, 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 sige. Tingnan natin. Okay. We have Mega Company. Investment income for 2019. Mega Company acquired 10% of the outstanding shares. Okay. Wala naman tayong investment income, basta equity method ta or cost. Wala tayong investment income pag naka-cost method ta. So, for 2019, ayan, 10%. So, cost method yan. Ay, sinabi niya nga. Appropriately accounted for under cost method. On January 1, 2020, Mega gained the ability to exercise significant influence. So, that's 2020. Kasi, may binili siyang additional 20% ng shares. The fair value of Penny's net assets equaled carrying amount. The fair value of the 10% interest on January was 6 million. For the years ended 2019 and 2020, the investor reported the following dividends. Okay, pag dividend unsa ganito, debit, cash, credit, dividend, income. Ma'am, na-leave ko sa meeting. Ay, yun to, si Ever. Na-leave daw siya sa meeting. So, sa GC na lang niya gibutang ihang answer. Okay. So, the first question is simply the dividends. Wala naman tayong ibang source ng income basta cost method kundi ang dividends, right? Unlike sa equity method na kay share in profit, na kay excess of cost, etc., revaluation surplus, ay hindi nga pala investment income, no? Ang revaluation surplus. So, those things. Therefore, on 2019, the only source of income, aka investment income for 2019 is the dividend, which is 2 million times the 10%. So, that makes it 200,000 for number 1 question. We have 200,000 as our answer. Next, investment income for 2020. So, this time, naana tayong mga changes na i-consider. First is the 10 million shares or the 10 million acquisition cost will be the 20% plus unsa gani ni cost to equity method, no? Gikan sa cost method ni upgrade siya equity. Therefore, sige, ako na lang ipakita. For the question number 3 na rin na sake. For the sake of question number 3 na rin. Okay? So, share this tab. Okay. So, you have here the cost. That was 10 million plus katong fair value sa existing 10% and sinabi naman sa problem na it was 6 million as of January 1, 2020. So, you have 10 million, so that is 16 million in total. And then the carrying amount. How much is the carrying amount? Sinabi niya ba? Hindi niya naman sinabi kung magkano ang carrying amount. So, maybe we are going to assume na yung 16 million is equal to that 30%. So, walang difference ang carrying amount ni investee and the cost na binayad ni investor. So, when I mean carrying amount, katuganing kung naabay difference and asa siya nga asset identifiable. Okay, so for the problem, wala siyang ganon. So, we are going to assume na yan, yung 16 million. All assets are fairly valued. So, let's proceed to any changes. So, we have share in profit. Okay, share in profit. That would be 6.5. Not for 2020 we have 6.5. So 6.5 times 30%. So we have 19.5 share in the profit. Ang laki naman. 6.5. Ayan, 1950. And we also have dividends. So this is a decrease. It is 6 million times 30%. So 1.8 decrease. Ay, 2023 million nga pala, no? 3 million. That would be 900,000 a decrease. What else? Excess of cost. Wala namang excess of cost. Wala, hindi niya naman sinabi how much is the carrying amount. Therefore, ito na yon. Do the math. I think I need to close the door of my room. Kasi medyo maingay. So, we have 17.05 carrying amount as of 12/31/2020. Ayan. So, this is for our question number 3. Question number 2, investment income for 2020 is simply the net amount of your share in profit and dividends. And the net amount is 1.05 million. Tama ba? Investment income. Where is the 6.5? Ito, investment income. Ay, dividends, wala nga pala. Hindi nga pala kasali si dividends kasi debit, cash, credit, IIA. So, for question number 2, ito lang pala yun. Ang simple lang, 1.95 million. Okay? So, sino po ba ang nakakuha ng tamang sagot? 201,950. I think it's Felmar. Felmar, 200,000. That's 1. And then, 1.95. Sino po ang sumagot ng 1.95? We have Giliera. Hindi pa ba complete si Giliera? We have Lomando, Giliera. Ay, okay, hindi pa pala siya complete. And lastly, 17.05. Sinong nakakuha ng 17.05? We have Sanchez. Right? Yes. Sanchez, 17.05. So, ayun. That's how we compute for the carrying amount and the investment income. And that's how we analyze our investment from cost method going to equity method. So, great job. At least, na-answer natin lahat. Okay, that ends our investment in associate. Then we are going to proceed with investment in bonds. Ito naman si investment in bonds is another type of investment. Kaya lang, iba yung perspective ni investee dito. And what am I talking about? That thing we're going to discuss after a break. De joke lang. Sige, yun lang for investment in associate.